It's been just over 1 month since we've gotten back from living in Peru, and it seems like a really good time now where we can reflect on our time living in Peru. If you've been keeping up with my videos, you would know that our original plan was to live in Peru, in Lima, Peru, for about 5 or 6 months, but that was cut short due to the coronavirus. And we only really got about a month and a half of living in Peru, because the next month and a half that we lived there was just on quarantine. But I really want to reflect on that first month and a half, where we definitely enjoyed ourselves a lot, learned a lot, and took a lot away from it. Both Michelle and I are a little bit sad that we didn't get to experience some things that we could have done in Peru, such as we never got to go see Machu Picchu or Cusco in general. Parts of Lima we didn't get to see. We wanted to go back to central Lima, and just other parts of Peru.
What's it called? It starts with an A. Is it Arequipa?
The city, yeah, the big one?
Yeah. We didn't get to see Arequipa.
It just means that we have to come back and enjoy those things. But this video is more about a reflection of what we did. And we did experience a lot, especially within the first couple weeks. We did a lot of the touristy things during that time, such as going to central Lima, going to the cliffs, going down by the water. We visited a lot of the tourist landmarks, such as Park Kennedy, and we visited the pyramid within the city. If you want to know more about the pyramid within the city, I have a great video that I took during that day, and I'll link that in the description. Alright, let's do a short segment. What was your favorite thing in Peru?
My favorite thing in Lima was the ceviche. It was so good. And I've had ceviche here, but for some reason it's just so sour, so fresh, and just crunchy. It's great. I love it.
That ceviche was also really cheap, much cheaper than we could get in the United States. I would say my favorite thing was being so close to the ocean and being able to walk by it every single day and have those amazing views. Sometimes we just sit in a park, right on the ocean, on the cliffs, just eating our lunch, enjoying the view, and that food was also amazing. That's another story for another time though. I will say though, in Milwaukee, it's right on Lake Michigan, and the views here are really good too, because Lake Michigan is massive. It's so big, and it's also stunning. It's a different kind of stunning. There's no cliffs here or anything. Where we lived in Lima, we lived in Miraflores. It was a really touristy part, but one thing that we really liked about that was we were able to meet people from all over the world. Like, we stayed in a place that had other tourists living there. It was an Airbnb, but it was run more like a hostel type thing, except it was an Airbnb. But anyway, we met people from Germany, we met people from Colombia, we met other people from the US. We met all these people we wouldn't have met staying in the US. It was really cool meeting these people and learning where they're from, how they do things, how they view Miraflores and Lima in general compared to how we viewed it. We got to know some of the people that we lived with really well, and we went out to eat one night with a couple from Colombia, and they'd been to Lima before, and they took us to one of their favorite restaurants, which was called Mango, and it was an all-you-can-eat, nice restaurant, and it was $15, 15 US dollars. A little cheaper than that actually, but it was super cheap for a ton of food. And I remember that I was just impressing everyone by how much I could eat, because I can eat a ton, even though it doesn't always look like I can, but I need to fuel my body, fuel my muscles, and I definitely pig out when I can.
At night, the city of Lima takes on a whole new breath. And whether that's in the park or at the bars or even just like people hanging out at the restaurants, it continues to be vibrant and not as quiet as you may think, even on a Sunday night.
On a Sunday night, we actually saw a rap battle going on in Park Kennedy, which was really cool. Park Kennedy was one of my favorite parks, if not my favorite park of Lima, because you just got to pet all the cats all the time. They're just always there. And I love cats, just love them. The sandwiches in the park, in Park Kennedy, were really good too. And they're fairly cheap, they're like $3. I got chicken, pulled chicken a lot of the times.
Yeah.
And
they put lime and onions and a nice piece of lettuce. It's really good.
Michelle does love her limes. When we got to Lima, it seemed really big, and we purposely wanted to go someplace that was really big, a really big city that had at least 700,000 people. I think that was our minimum threshold, which Lima has like 11 or 12 million. So it definitely met that, but it definitely was a little overwhelming right away because it was so big and we were such a small fish in the pond. But as we got to know the city, especially Miraflores, it got to be a lot more comfortable and we were able to go places just normally and not use our phone for maps. But I think that's the same way with any big city. Being in Peru, it seemed really surreal when the whole coronavirus outbreak started happening all over the world, because we were in a completely different country, living in a different country, and it was just absolutely surreal. We definitely adapted to the environment around us when we were in Peru. And another example of that would be just grocery shopping and cooking food in general, because a lot of the food that we would get in America was really expensive in Peru because it's imported. And so we didn't want to do that because, it didn't make sense. So
it did give us the opportunity to try more local cuisine and more local produce, like passion fruit and their mangoes and I'm trying to think what else. There's a lot of fruits that I can't think of the name of in English, but all really, really yummy.
It definitely brought us out of our comfort zone in a lot of good ways though. I feel like we grew a lot as people and together while we were in Peru, because we were completely separated from all our friends and family back in the United States, like 7 hours away by plane. So definitely not accessible like before. There was definitely things that we take for granted in the United States that we realize more when we're living abroad in some place such as Peru. One thing that comes to mind is internet, and our internet connection at the place we were staying was poor a lot of the time, and we had to just deal with it. It's something that was super frustrating, especially early on, but we grew more accustomed to it as time went on. Do these stairs remind you of anything?
Yeah, they remind me of the stairs that we had to take when we wanted to go by the water. These are a lot easier actually. The ones in Lima were horrible.
Overall, we made a ton of good memories in Peru and are looking forward to eventually going back. We miss the place, we miss the people, We missed the different sights and sounds that are a lot different than here. If you want more videos on our adventures in Peru, I'll link a playlist in the description that has all those videos, and take a look at some.
Boy.